And we're now being joined via Skype by activist Kambale Musavuli to talk more on the political situation in the DRC. By the way, he's joining me from Washington. Many thanks for joining me on The World Now.
Thank you.
Do you agree there is a crisis of legitimacy besettling the DR Congo?
Oh, definitely. And it is actually refreshing to see former African leaders speak up around what is happening in the DRC. Unfortunately, it is over 6 million deaths later, and this has been one of the most disconcerting features of the Congo crisis over the past 20 years. Mainly, it's been the silence on the African continent with the situation that's happening in the Congo. But we have a political crisis in DRC. You know, President Kabila, he does not want to leave power. He's holding on to power and refusing to organize election and step aside. And because of that action, it has been deadly for the Congolese, especially in the Kasai region, right in the center of the Congo, which borders also Angola. So he has affected both the Congo and Angola. And as you mentioned, over 1.3 million people have been displaced since the beginning of the conflict, which has been ongoing for the past year. But I want to also explain, because when people hear about 1 million people, you don't get the context about human beings who are affected by it. I mean, we're talking about at least 400,000 children who have no access to food now, who are in the refugee camps, who are being malnourished over just a political crisis. Also, 40 mass graves, actually 42 now, 42 mass graves have been found in the center of the Congo, in the Kasai region. 2 UN experts have been assassinated, 2 stellar investigative experts who were documenting the human rights abuse that's taking place in the Kasai have been assassinated. So as we can see, with worse unfoldings, clearly could be easily called war crimes and crimes against humanity of what's actually happening in the Kasai region.
Kambale, I have to interrupt you now. As we speak, how acute or palpable is the political tension in the DRC?
It is so dire. I mean, there is a call directly from the population on the ground for an independent international investigation on what is happening. The Congolese people have been crying out to the world, to the African nations, asking them to intervene in the situation and to have an independent investigation around what is happening. I need to note, though, there are 2 African nations, unfortunately, who are blocking the investigation, the UN Council for Human Rights, specifically South Africa, led by Zuma, and Togo, led by Faure Gnassingbé, who's the son of the former Togolese dictator Eyadema. And of course, for Gnassingbé, he has come to power just as Kabila has come to power. It was a military coup. He's been denounced by the African Union. But these 2, without going into a tangent, these 2 leaders are blocking an investigation into the deaths of Africans.
But let me ask you, what happens in a situation where a sovereign nation says it cannot afford the cost of holding elections? I mean, in the principal case of the DRC, $1.8 billion is required, but out of reach.
I don't think it's a question of money. We've seen many places around the world elections organized. If the Congolese government had the political will to organize the elections, we wouldn't be where we are today. Let's please put that in context. In 2011, Kabila was declared the president, the winner of the elections in the Congo, right? So from 2011 to now 2017, the Congolese government wants the world to know that they cannot organize an election after 5 years of being in power. So it's clear that there is no political will on the part of the Congolese government to organize it. The second thing, whenever we have political crises such as the one that's taking place in Congo, we've seen resolutions happening before. I'm going to use the example of Gambia, right? Where we saw the engagement of African nations, specifically ECOWAS countries, putting pressure on the former president of Gambia to not hold on to power. I'm not seeing the same when it comes to the Congo. And that's why in the beginning I shared, there seems to be a practice on the African continent of being silent around what's happening in the Congo.
Kambale, very quickly now, Kambale, we are running out of time, and I want to ask you this question. What may be Joseph Kabila's fears for not wanting to leave office? Some have suggested it may be fear of the unknown outside of office and his father's experience. What are your thoughts? Very quickly.
I believe that may be the case, but for the will of the Congolese people deserve a chance to a future. You know, they had that hope since 1960 with our leader Patrice Lumumba, and we want to have a change there. So we should think more of what do the Congolese people want. The Congolese people want elections. They want a new leader. They've been with Kabila for over 15 years. Regardless of what will happen to him after, which could be a process of justice for crimes he's committed, what the Congolese people need right now is peace and stability, and it can only happen at this moment with elections that they're calling for, and we're calling for other Africans to join us in this call and put pressure on the government to stand at the side of the Congolese people.
Kambale Musavuli, human rights activist and spokesperson, Friends of the Congo. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.